Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Paisley and Glue, and today we are going to learn a super fun and easy trick to tie a knot. I know, super exciting. But in all seriousness, it's going to help you make a nice big knot easily and fastly at the end of your threads. Pull it out of the fabric accidentally when you're trying to hand sew. First step is we're going to assemble our supplies: scissors, thread color of choice, some thread wax, and whichever needle you'd like to use. Generally when I hand sew, I will use a double thread on my needle. So that means I'm going to cut my thread twice as long as I ultimately want it to be. And the reason I do that is that it's stronger. So if one thread breaks, then I've still got one thread remaining so that hopefully my seam doesn't pull out. It also makes things like sewing closures much faster, which is helpful when you're on a time crunch. So I've cut double the length I need. I brought both ends through to meet here at the end. Now here's the trick. You're going to lay one end of the thread against your finger and bring the needle over to pinch the thread between the needle and your finger with leaving a little tail here. Then we're going to take the other end. We're going to wrap the thread around both that tail and the needle 2 or 3 times. Keep it nice and tight and pressed against your finger. Now you've got this little roll of thread here. You're going to take your other hand, pinch the needle between your thumb and forefinger, keep it tight, and slide that little roll of thread all the way down the thread, all the way down the needle, all the way down the thread to the end. And as it slides down, it's going to sort of bunch itself up, and it's going to make a nice strong knot at the end. Make sure that's going to hold, and that's a nice looking knot that's not going to pull out from your fabric when you're trying to sew. It's not the most invisible knot, so if you're trying to do something very delicate, it's obviously not going to be the best choice for that, but this is great for when you're sewing on closures and you need a nice strong knot that's not going to pull out. If you can bury it in a seam, this is a great choice. Do one more time, nice and close up. You're going to pinch the end of the thread between the needle and your forefinger. Wrap the thread around that tail and your needle 2 or 3 times. Transfer it to your other hand, keeping that little roll of thread on the needle, and pull it all the way down. And there's your knot. And then my last step before I start hand sewing is always to run the thread through the thread wax. It's a good habit to get into. It's going to make your life so much easier. That pesky thread is not going to get all bunched up in your project. And you're going to be much happier with your final product. Okay friends, that's going to do it for today. Hope that's going to help you out with your adventures in hand sewing. And if you liked this video, you could leave me a comment or a thumbs up. That would really help me out. And I will see you next time. It sure makes my life a lot easier when I'm doing a lot of hand sewing. It can get really tedious tying all those knots. That's stupid.